To everybody that was here this morning, thanks for coming back this afternoon. We've got a great lineup this afternoon. So first off, we have a presentation about ACENET resources for research data management. And we have two presenters for this session. Lydia Vermeyden joined ACENET in 2020 as a research consultant, specializing in humanities and social sciences. Her experience spans several research fields and organizations where she has led or collaborated in applying advanced technology, including experimental quantum physics, nursing, psychology, and public health. Her varied projects include optimizing entangled photon sources, experimentally verifying quantum causality, integrating e-technology with mental health screening, developing mental health e-interventions, including a triage algorithm, and analyzing experiences and opinions around health and safety and the effects of employment legislation on Alberta family farms. Our other presenter for this session is Grace Fishbein, who joined ACENET as a research consultant in the fall of 2019, and she has recently moved into the role of training coordinator. She has completed her undergraduate degree at Memorial University of Newfoundland in applied math and physics, and then pursued her master's in biomedical physics at Ryerson University. Throughout her studies and work experience, Grace has always sought out opportunities to improve her pedagogical approach through teaching in a variety of fields of expertise. So I'll turn it over to Grace and Lydia now. Thanks very much.
Thank you. All right. So as mentioned, we're here with ACENET to talk about research data management. And the big takeaways we have for you today are if you're not sure who is ACENET, what can we do to help you? What do we have to do with research data management? How can you apply our supports and services for your own research? And what are the next steps that you would need to take if you want to access those services? So we're going to have a fair bit of time at the end to answer any questions that you have, but also Grace is going to be watching the chat and the Q&A throughout the session. So if you have any questions during that time that you want to pop in there, Grace is going to be available to answer those. So what is ACENET? If you haven't heard of us before, we're a regional partner of Compute Canada. So Compute Canada is the national body responsible for advanced digital research infrastructure for Canadian researchers. And we are the Atlantic regional division of that, so to speak. We are part of the advanced research computing branch or future branch of NREO. So if you're here this morning, you saw the great diagram about how things are made up and where ACENET fits under Compute Canada and sort of the ARC branch of the three pillars of NREO. Because a few things about us, so obviously as a publicly funded government organization, our services and supports are free of charge for post-secondary institutional researchers in Canada. We rely on Compute Canada infrastructure, so that's all located in Canada. So any data that you house with us will also stay in Canada. And we also retain no intellectual property. So any data that you house with us remains your data. We're not commercialized in that way at all for our researchers. So we will not take and then sell you back your data. A few of the big things that we do that we're a little bit more known for than research data management is high performance computing, supercomputing, machine learning, data visualization. But we also do a lot with storage, especially large storage and large file transfers, and cloud technology, which can be very helpful in terms of research data management. If you are looking for new and innovative ways to collect your data, store your data, have a virtual space where you can analyze your data, cloud has a lot to offer in that area. So how can we help you when it comes to your research? Well, we have access to the Compute Canada high performance computing clusters, the Compute Canada managed cloud development space. There's a lot of software available in our clusters, and that's sort of under development with cloud. In terms of data storage and sharing, that's an area that's being continued to be developed at Compute Canada and therefore at ACENET. So there's a lot of hardware infrastructure resources that we have access to, and we can therefore get you access to if you're a Canadian researcher. Accompanying that comes expertise in consulting services. So if you are not used to using this kind of digital infrastructure, but you feel like it would be a great resource for your research, we also provide a lot of consulting and expertise in a bunch of different specialized areas. So we have specialists for cloud applications, for machine learning. Myself, I'm the humanities and social sciences specialist. We also have a specialist in data management, and I'm going to circle back later on in the presentation and tell you a bit more about that. But the idea is that we are then able to help you with your project to determine what the best resources from our infrastructure would be for your project. We can work with you to help you optimize and design, configure your project. We can help you with onboarding and training for using our systems. We can provide you with ongoing support. So from the beginning of your project, maybe if you're submitting a grant and you need help with writing the digital piece for that, right up until, if you're in the middle of the project and you're having problems, we provide ongoing support from start to finish. We also, because we're a partner with Compute Canada and have a close relationship with Portage, we have access to expert personnel at the federal level. So if we don't have it specifically in our region, we're able to reach out to our federal teams and collaborators and get more support if required. So as mentioned, we provide a lot of training on our specific systems. So how to use our Compute Canada Cloud, how to use our high performance computing clusters. But we also do training on more general topics. We do a lot of introductory programming training. If you've heard of the carpentries, software, data, and library carpentries, we've started running we've run a lot of software carpentries for a while, teaching introductory Python and R and GitHub and Shell, but we've also started running data carpentry workshops that look more at data organization, how to effectively use spreadsheets and how to not use spreadsheets, good practices for metadata, that kind of thing. And touching a little bit more into data plans and management. We do discipline-specific training as well, and part of that has included in the past and will in upcoming workshops include specific introductory training around RDM topics. So circling back to our support specifically around data management. So I mentioned we have an expert research consultant in RDM. That's Lee Wilson, if you met him before. He is heavily involved with Portage, and he does a lot of our training for us and convinces a lot of his coworkers to help us out with that. And it's been excellent collaboration with Portage. They have a lot of great resources, as you've seen this morning. And we've been able to make use of that in terms of the training that we're able to bring our researchers. As I mentioned, we offer some intro-level research data management training. So this is a workshop series that we've been running specifically for humanities and social sciences researchers and RDM applied to those fields. But we're looking to do some more general RDM sessions in the future. I already mentioned the data carpentries, data organization analysis workshops that we're looking to run. And we've also kept video recordings for our YouTube channel of past research data management workshops. And we've started building a Compute Canada wiki page dedicated to research data management, that will have sort of a list of resource links. So our users have sort of a landing place that they can go and be able to access the resources they need. Most of the links at this point point somewhere on a portage page, but we're looking to expand that list. So the you might be thinking, how much does RDM cross over with advanced research computing? And the reality is, the longer that we have been working with particularly researchers coming out of non-hard sciences field, the more it's becoming clear that research data management practices really need to be present and known and implemented from the beginning of the research lifecycle right through the end. We typically deal with research data management projects in sort of the early active stage, where a lot of decisions are made that can, for better or for worse, affect the outcome at the end of the project. And we're looking to improve the access that our researchers have to training to be able to make better research data management decisions early on in their projects, for better outcomes for them later. So in the spirit of that, we're going to be doing some upcoming training. The top one there is a bit more towards programming than research data management, but it's looks at basics and applications for humanities and social sciences, including being able to use Shell and GitHub and regular expressions. The second one, data organization and analysis for humanities and social sciences, starts in January. And this is going to look at organizing data in spreadsheets, cleaning data with OpenRefine, backing ups, managing data with GitHub, and then some analysis with R. So there's some kernels there. And both those, registration for those workshops is up, and I have the links in the slides. I don't know if Grace has them for the chat. Thank you, Grace. We are also planning, after the success we had in the summer with our workshop series for humanities and social sciences, we've collaborated with the Compute Canada Working Group for Humanities and Social Sciences to do a federal workshop series. And as always, that community has expressed to us the need for research data management specific sessions. So the current plan for that series is to take place during Reading Week, February 2021. And there will definitely be some research data management focused sessions as part of that series. And we are also looking to, coming spring 2021, we are in the very early stages of planning this, but we would like to do a exclusively RDM focused workshop, mainly for early and active stages of the research life cycle, because that's typically where we're dealing with the projects, and we want to have it be specifically applicable to projects that are using Compute Canada infrastructure. So being able to see how good practices in research data management look when applied to Compute Canada infrastructure, whether that's cloud or whether that's using our clusters. How does that practically work in real life for a variety of different projects, as a way to really educate our current users and future users, and how to get them better outcomes for their research through good RDM practices. So that's our upcoming training. Next steps. So if you'd like to hear more about our services, our resources, our upcoming training, please email info@ace-net.ca. I have a typo there on the slide, but the correct email address is at the bottom of the slide. If you have a new project and you're thinking about using more advanced digital tools, but you're maybe not sure about how that would work or whether that's even a good idea, again, email us. We're happy to just have a quick chat with you and talk about your project and see whether there's a way that we can help. If you are at a smaller institution in Atlantic Canada and you don't have support regarding RDM at your institution, you don't have a contact point person, absolutely you can contact us and we'll probably put you in touch with Lee. He'll put you in touch with, either help you or put you in touch with Portage. So we're happy to be the bridge support there if needed. And yes, if you're putting together a grant application for a project that has a digital research element and you want some feedback or guidance for that, absolutely contact us as well. Getting an account. So if you would like to just jump on getting an account at Compute Canada, which would allow you to access the high performance computing cluster resources right away, then the link is on the slide there. And you just click register, and these accounts are free for and available for any faculty at Canadian universities. All right, so that's the conclusion of the main part of the presentation today, and we'll sort of open things up for questions. Is there any questions in the chat?
Oh, I don't see any that have come up so far. I've been heavily dumping every link on Lydia's slide plus any extra that I think might be useful in the chat. I know there's a lot there, but if there was anything in there that you wanted to open up in a tab and save for later, go for it. If there's anything that we mentioned there that you'd like the link for, let us know. And yeah, let us know if there's any questions as well. I'm just going to put that last link in.
So one of the questions that just came up in the chat is the account free for graduate students?
So it is free, but you do have to be sponsored. So you have to find a faculty member who either has a Compute Canada account or is willing to get one, and then they can sponsor you to have an account. But it is still free for students.
And there's a question from one of your earlier slides. What does fire and forget mean?
Yes, fire and forget. So that basically means that if you are trying to transfer a large file, it can take quite some time. And fire and forget basically means if you have started the transfer, it does the transfer in small pieces. So if it gets interrupted partway through, let's say you live in Atlantic Canada and power outages are a thing, and it gets interrupted, it will save the spot at which it was interrupted. And then when you inevitably get power back and start it up again, it'll start at that same place, so you won't lose your progress, which if you're transferring terabytes of data does matter. So that's fire and forget.
Wow, that's a really cool feature. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And another question, what do you mean by digital data?
Do they have a slide or a context?
Is there something?
For that?
Do you have any context for that there? I'm not sure. Do you think maybe you could explain your question a little bit better or a little bit more in the chat?
So to support together, who work together to support RTM services and they are shown on data JS library and shown.
Oh.
I have a question. I'm not, if I could ask another one. Can you explain a little bit about the, like specifically what's available? I know you touched on researcher students have access to, you know, cloud computing, high speed and so on. Like, is there, and I'm sure you may have said this, but just if you could refresh my memory, how much is there a amount of space available, or
Yeah,
certain
absolutely.
things that might be
Yeah.
helpful for some of the researchers
For
on the
sure,
call?
for sure. So when you get a Compute Canada account, what happens is you automatically, by default, have access to the high performance computing clusters, and you're able to submit jobs, and there's a scheduler that decides who gets to submit how many jobs when. So if you're interested in high performance computing, that's available right away. And if somebody wants me to go back into the technical details for that, I can do that at some point. In terms of storage, you get, I believe it's 1 terabyte of default space, but depending on your requirements, you can request up to 10 terabytes of storage space on the clusters, and it's active storage, so you can get in and out is no problem. There's also something called nearline storage, which is great for more archival needs that are not quite repository needs. And then there's also cloud, and cloud also cloud you have to apply for specifically after you get your account. It's an extra step, and you have access to that virtual development space. Again, up to a terabyte. Up to 10 terabytes. By request. And then if you need more than 10 terabytes, we actually have an annual competition where researchers submit applications for their projects. And then there's a decision, we don't make it, it's higher up the food chain that decides at the end who's going to receive those like really big allocations. Does that sort of answer your question a bit more, Erin?
Yeah, great. Thank you. I was just thinking that some people might be interested in that, particularly the amount of space they get. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I had a question, actually. This is Allison Farrell. You mentioned that you do discipline-specific training as well.
That's right.
So
Yep.
would, say, a group of medicine faculty wanted to have a session on high computing something, whatever, would they be able to just contact you directly to set up a session?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We have a link for training requests, I think, on our training page. Grace is getting that. And we sort of do it as, you know, on demand and as we can fit into our schedule. But for example, so we've done a lot recently that's specifically tuned to humanities and social sciences, but we're also running, we just ran in the fall, or we're about to run machine learning. And then we are doing, I think, molecular dynamics in the winter term. So yeah, we absolutely run specialized sessions based on requests and demand and our timing. And again, because we have access to the Compute Canada federal team, if we don't actually have an analyst on our team who has that expertise, we'll just talk to them and arrange for some help. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's fantastic. And I have another question. Have you ever done any coordination or collaboration with libraries or the IT departments on some of the various campuses to do like a collaborative session and talk about the various different services that each session can provide? Other than what we're doing today, I guess.
Not that I know of.
That was going to be my answer, but we'd love to.
But we'd like to.
That was going to be my follow-up question.
We would love that. Absolutely. Yes. That would be great.
One of the things Lydia and I have very much been pushing for offering a lot of different training, specifically for the HSS community, because we haven't had the resources in order to do that before. So one of the things that is allowing us to put off more training is to collaborate. So we are definitely interested in that idea. We already have a couple collaborations with both individuals interested in being a part of helping others learn computing techniques, as well as sort of specific groups that are similar to us, like OTN, for example, which is, I'm trying to remember, Ocean, trying to remember the Ocean Network. I'm forgetting what the T stands for.
Tracking network.
Thank you.
Ocean Tracking Network.
Yes, and Surge as well. And anyway, this just allows us to have actual additional human resources that we can put off more workshops. So yeah, we can definitely be in contact about that.
And yes, thank you, Jennifer. HSS in this case refers to Humanities and Social Sciences. Thanks.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that would be great to have some of those collaborations, and potentially perhaps people that are on this call could get in touch with you if they wanted to set something like that up.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Please.
Because
Please
I know these are
contact us.
some, yeah, I know these are some great resources, but when you talk to a lot of researchers or faculty members, they have no idea. They don't know anything about it. So it's just, yeah, getting the word out.
Yeah,
And
and we.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, great. Yeah, a huge part of our job is outreach, letting people know the services that we offer, but how great to be able to collaborate with you guys and bring people the other piece of the puzzle for their research. And it's not just about digital infrastructure, it's also about having good research data management to go along with that. So yeah, that would be, if anybody who's interested in collaborating with us on that front, please get in touch with us at info@ace-net.ca, or Grace or I as well. That would be great.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to add to that on the other end is that we rely heavily on your feedback, either from our training or knowing what your needs are, because that's exactly how we plan our training events, is what are people interested in learning about and how can we help you.
Okay, great. And we have another question here. Do you also deal with health sciences research?
Yes. So we have a number of groups that are, I end up, depends on whether it's more to the biology end or more to the social sciences end, whether I deal with it or one of our other consultants tends to deal with it. If it's non-specialized, it sort of goes to the regional person. But yeah, we do have a lot of people using both our cloud and clusters for research in that area, definitely. We also had if you're doing research related to COVID-19, there are some special rules in place for expediting certain types of research related to COVID at Compute Canada. So if you need, if you're doing vaccine research and you need a lot of computing power very quickly, there's a process in place for making sure that happens.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any other questions for Grace or Lydia?
It's Erin again. I just wanted to, when you mentioned Surge, I just wanted to plug them. They're great. We did a session for them also. So yeah, we have some groups, you know, at Dell who are taking advantage of what's being offered. But now just, you know, I think being able to collaborate with you directly, and that's going to be fantastic.
It
So
really
yeah,
is. Yeah.
Go Surge. They're awesome.
Yeah, they are. We found Surge, OTN, everyone there has been very excited to help out, and it just allows us to offer more training for more people. The online aspect is obviously making that very doable. A little bit harder to do that over here in Newfoundland, but yeah, we've been fortunate to meet some people who are very interested in and excited about the same sort of things that we are. It's just helping people learn new techniques.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks very much. If there are no other questions, I guess we'll take a break until our next session. So if, you know, this is all really the same afternoon session. So if you do end up having more questions, please just pop them into the chat, and perhaps we can get those questions to Lydia and Grace, and they can answer them for you. So I guess we'll take about a 20-minute break. One more question, sorry. How can graduate students benefit from ACENET? It's a big one.
Yeah, so there's a few things. One is training. So if you're interested in getting more experience with open source programming, We do a lot of training, and it's designed for not just faculty, but also graduate students, especially if you haven't done much or any programming before, and you want to sort of up your digital literacy a little bit. Then yeah, watch our training page. We have tons of training, and there is a special. Usually, it's either free or it's very, very inexpensive for academics, so students and faculty. And we also provide more specialized training. I think we're right in the middle right now of a cloud workshop that basically teaches you end-to-end how to set up a cloud virtual machine and then build a web server. So there's a lot of value there. If you're part of a research project that you think could benefit from using Compute Canada infrastructure, either high performance computing or cloud, then talk to your PI and get them to contact us, because we're happy to sit down and talk to them about whether that would be a good option. The other thing we do is the Parallel Computing School, which runs in the summer. Grace knows a little bit more about that than I do.
Yeah, this would be our most advanced level of training. So we're actually looking to even make better use of the high performance computing services that we have. So if you're sort of at that advanced level and needing a little bit more guidance in that area, that's sort of somewhere between a course and a workshop in terms of the time commitment. We ran it online for the first time this year and had fairly good feedback. So I think that'll be most likely widely available, as opposed to in the past where we would rotate it locationally across Atlantic Canada. So if you want more information about that, let me know.
Yeah. The other thing we're doing is this is probably more of a faculty thing than a grad student thing, but we often collaborate heavily with Digital Humanities Summer Institutes, like Compute Canada does in general across the country. So if you're in the digital humanities field, then that's a good place to go as well.
We also get a lot of grad students to help out with our training if that's something you're interested in. So if you're sort of whatever level you're at, you can get involved in some way.
All right, great. Thank you so much. I don't see any more questions, I don't think. But again, if you have any more, you can always get in touch with Grace and Lydia. I'm sure they're happy to hear from you.